I'm a believer that in some way or another, everybody is creative to a point. I really treat it like a muscle. The more work you put in and expose your mind to new ideas, the more creative that you're going to be over time. I'm going to be going over what creativity is relating to music and a few ways that you can actually be creative right now. I think diving into what creativity actually is and just understanding it a little more is going to help you a lot when ideas aren't flowing or you have a creative block. And for the video, I created a creative block reference guide for you guys that you can download for free. It's just a little one-page reference guide that goes a little deeper on some ways that you can get out of creative blocks or think outside the box a little more. So on the most basic level, creativity is taking something you know and repurposing it, reshaping it in a way that is new. And for example, this could be using like a preset that wasn't intended to be used for a certain way. It could be spicing up some drum patterns or taking normal chord progressions and just making the most of them in an actual song. So within creativity, there's two subgenres, I guess you could call it. The exploring phase and the implementing phase. The exploring phase is a really random process, and this could be hopping into a project with no intentions to create a full song. Maybe it could be a sound design session where you just create random things. You're not really trying to implement these ideas into anything yet, but they're just ideas in general that you could use in the future. And then implementing, we can put those ideas into actual songs. This is why some people might be good at creating presets, but they can't actually make songs. They can't actually implement it into a song. And you know, sometimes you create something that's so random that just makes no sense. What I'll do a lot is I'll create like a little 8-bar loop, a 16-bar loop. I'll just think the melody's not good or something. So what I'll do is, instead of closing out the project, saving the project still, but instead of just closing out of it, I usually export like 8 or 16 bars of it just so I don't have to open up the project in the future. Next, I want to go over this really interesting tweet that I found. It's a guy named Janice Oslins, and I think I'm saying that right. I assume I am. But he talks about the creative struggle, and he put it into 4 loops, and he made it into like a really nice visual. The first one in the top left is learning for entertainment, and this would be somebody who watches a bunch of tutorials, somebody who doesn't take action with what they learn on YouTube or wherever they learn at, and they don't put what they learned into actual work. And watching these tutorials are inspiring. They're really fun to watch, but you have to make sure that you actually create music and not just watch tutorials all day. Next is new idea syndrome, and this has to be the most common. I think all of us start ideas. You are excited about it at first, but you get tired of it after like an hour in, and you just lose all inspiration on it. Music is and can be hard to finish at certain times. At least finishing 1 song a month is a good goal to start with, just to actually get in the habit of finishing songs. Next, we got perfectionism, and I can relate to this one so much. You get better, you actually, you watch tutorials, you go in, you get better, you finish ideas, but you never do anything with the actual idea because you know it's not perfect. And we all know that there is no perfect song out there. I feel like if you talk to most producers and you talk to them about a release they had 3 months ago, I feel like 99% of the time they're gonna say like, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. So there's no perfect song, just get them released, because if you like it at this current point in time, someone else is gonna like it too. And the last one is the overthinker. These kind of people just think about ideas all day. They might have a good idea in their head, but when they actually hop into the DAW and they lose inspiration, game over. And real quickly, I want to talk about something that's called flow state. I'm sure some of you have heard of it before. It's just when everything is coming to you all at once. Everything makes sense, everything sounds good, and it actually does sound good too. It sounds good like a day from now too. Everything's just happening automatically. You're not even thinking about it. And when you're doing this, time doesn't even exist. Your phone doesn't matter, your Instagram feed doesn't matter. Nothing matters except what you're doing. You're not focused on anything else. But with that said, I think it's a really good idea to work when you're not in flow. When you don't have a ton of inspiration, when you have to muscle through it and it just nothing's coming to you. That'll help you along the line down the road. Say you have a deadline, or say you just have to create an idea, or you really want to create an idea but nothing's coming to you. The more you muscle it now, the more you get through it, the more you work past it, you're going to be able to work through all the times that you're not feeling it. And I'm going to touch on some ways to actually be creative right now. But first, I want to plug this book real quick called it's actually called It's All in Your Head by Russ. He's a rapper, producer from US. He's from Atlanta. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really talk about creativity that much, but it really touches on all the the struggles that all of us creators face on the day-to-day basis. So 3 ways to be inspired right now. The first one is to limit yourself. Create a song with just a synth, or maybe you create a song with no drums, something you've never even done before. Maybe you want to create your own kick drums with your mouth or anything. Automate everything. It could be anything. And this is also why I love 1 hour challenges. I feel like they bring out the best in people, because you're not focused on finding that perfect preset. You're not focused on finding that perfect chord progression. You're focused on creating an actual musical full idea in just an hour. And these days, I'm pretty much always doing a 1 hour challenge. And this is just another way for me to stop trying to think about what I'm doing and just actually create. Next is recreating songs or beats that you're a really big fan of. And I like this because you're learning and creating at the same time, but you're learning from a song that's out, that's already established, that has millions of streams potentially. And yes, I do understand that you're not creating your own ideas, so to say, but I think when you recreate ideas that are really good, those get stuck into your head, and then eventually those are going to bleed out into your own music. And then the final one, which is what I talked about before, is going outside. Go for a walk, go in the woods, go anywhere. Because something that we see so much these days is that producers have their voice memos app in their phone. They have the voice memos app and they start songs from their phone. Now, why is that? That's because a lot of the best ideas come from when you're not even thinking about music. When I'm not in the studio, when I'm just out with my friends or something, that's when all the great ideas are going to start coming to you. But don't take that advice. Don't mix it up with laziness or anything like that. You should still create when you're not feeling it, when you're not inspired, just as much as when you are inspired. So that is it for this one. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said before, we're all creative in some way. I think everybody is creative. You just have to work. The more you create, the more ideas you're going to create, the more you can wash out all those bad ideas, and all the new ones are going to come through eventually. And creating this video actually inspired me a lot to make some new tunes, so I'm hoping it inspired you guys as well. Also, definitely check out that free creator's block reference guide. I think you guys are going to like that a lot to get some new ideas flowing. So I will talk to you guys very soon. Peace.